All right, what's going on, y'all? Hey, I'd just like to make a quick video here on the heels of that last one I made, talking about the transgender agenda that we see advancing here in the United States right now in the wake of the massacre, the tragedy that we saw in Orlando a couple weeks ago. Really, the time that we're living in this country is critical, and I think it's important that we understand what's really going on. Otherwise, we're going to be deceived by the propaganda and all the lies and deception they're swirling about, getting caught into emotionalism and character attacks rather than looking at the substance of these issues. I really believe that we're on the verge of losing our First Amendment rights in this country, and I think there's a good chance that the transgender agenda, the LGBT agenda, might be forefront in usurping freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom to assemble, the freedoms protected in the First Amendment. There's already lots of things that are in the works to put the LGBT so-called rights as something that is preeminent over the very First Amendment that our country was founded upon. And I believe that's very dangerous. You know, say that you are, I mean, obviously it's dangerous. That's what really secures our freedoms as a nation. You can't really find that anywhere else in the world. And there's so much oppression, so much darkness. But let's say that you are in the LGBT community and you believe this is a good thing. Well, the reality is that we lose our First Amendment rights. That doesn't mean that the LGBT community is going to be protected to say what they want. It really just sets a precedent to where whatever sort of ruling power comes in, whatever sort of oppressive regime comes in, they can change the rules however they want to. And so say the LGBT community is no longer at the forefront of what that society is seeking to accomplish, what the people in power are seeking to do, then there would be nothing to stop them from trampling upon the LGBT community. So it's really a dangerous thing for everybody. I think something that is missed so often on this channel is that I'm speaking to speak truth. I'm definitely taking a hard stance. I'm drawing lines of distinction, but I'm not promoting hate. I'm seeking to have an honest conversation about these things. And right now we also see that there's radical Islam. I would really just call it Islam. I mean, most people that practice Islam are not seeking to carry out jihad and blowing up people, but really most Muslims aren't really practicing the Quran, because these radicals, so-called, aren't just twisting the Quran. They're actually literally interpreting it historically, how it's been understood. They are the fundamentalists, and you look at the people in leadership all over the Middle East in these Muslim countries, this is the way that the leadership there interprets the Quran. They're not a fringe group. But there's a really great danger, and I don't understand. I mean, I do, but let's see, the LGBT community really doesn't have much of a bone to pick with Islam. But Islam is very radically opposed to the homosexual lifestyle, to the transgender community. Over in parts of the world where Islam is, law, Sharia law is in place, they'll kill people that practice homosexuality. But we see over here, it's almost like on the heels of these terror attacks, where it's very clearly there's a link to Islam, that there's almost like Muslim apologetics going on. Like, we need to stop the Islamophobia, because if we didn't communicate that we don't accept Islam, then we wouldn't have these people going out and killing us. That's just not true. But there is one spirit that unifies the LGBT community and radical Islam, and it's an antichrist spirit. Really, if you look at it, we can have a common enemy and still be allies, even if we don't really see eye to eye. And there is one spirit which is really seeking to push Christians out, and to really, there's already persecution and bloodshed going on all over the world in persecuting Christians. And I was reading a CNN article after the Orlando massacre, and it said, there was another gay bar in that area, and there was a vigil, and there was a man that was up there who was saying, it really could have been any of us that this happened to, really speaking about the gay community. But the reality is, it could have been a school, it could have been a church, it could have been a library, it could have been, a football game. the radical Islam is not primarily just seeking to destroy the LGBT community. They're seeking to destroy anybody that does not believe the way that they do. The way that, I have strong opinions. I believe that homosexuality is wrong, that God will judge those that take that to their grave. It's between them and God, but, as I read the Bible, I want to make sure that I'm ready to meet Him. And because I care about people, I want to share the truth with others. So there's lots of deception out there. I just thought it was, the main thing I want to communicate in this video is that our First Amendment rights are under siege. And should that go down, should there be some sort of way that legislation basically nullifies the First Amendment, it won't be long before we see just total oppression and just a world that none of us want to live in. We ought to really just be thankful that we can disagree with one another and peaceably live together. And I do honestly see a lot more venom and hatred directed at me than I've directed at anybody in these videos. I'm open to comments, and I hope to be in touch with y'all. God bless you. Bye-bye.